everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a video on homemaking. I know I've been making a lot of videos about homeschooling, but if you've seen my tagline here at Our Abundant Home, it's from homeschooling to homemaking and everything in between. And I really wanted to get some homemaking videos out for you guys to kind of see my heart behind this and share my journey. So this video, I'm going to make several homemaking videos, but I know for sure I'm going to be making two. This will be a two-part. The first is going to be just me telling you what is homemaking and my journey to get where I am now. And then I also will be sharing part two, which is my home management binder. It has everything from my to-do list, my grocery list, my chore schedule, or I say cleaning schedule, and budget sheets and everything in here. And I will let you guys know I've created my own where you guys can pick those up at. So that being said, I really wanted to share kind of how I came to homemaking. So first, what is homemaking? Because I think our generation really isn't maybe not familiar with the term of homemaker. What is a homemaker? So I have the definition right here. It says homemaking is defined as the creation and management of a home, especially as a pleasant place to live. So when I read that, it just really warmed my heart that you manage your home, and it is, you're creating this space, but it's especially a pleasant place to live. So we kind of have this duty to create this sanctuary for our families to come and be at rest in. And not only that, but I'm a homeschooler, so I'm in my house all the time. And then my husband, who's in the military, he's gone and he comes back. And this is kind of like a place where we can just decompress and be ourselves and relax and just feel cozy and warm and loving in. And I get to be creative and creating this space that is amazing. That being said, I did not start here, okay? I got married when I was 19 years old, super young, I know, but we loved each other and we still do. And I went to work with my husband just like I thought I always would. And I knew that I wanted to go to college and do all those things. We were in college when we got married. And when I had my first child, my husband left for the military, and I ended up staying home after I had a prolonged maternity leave. I believe I had 14 weeks or something. And I just was didn't feel right about going back to work at the time because my husband was gone and childcare, and I didn't want my son to be in childcare, so I stayed at home. And I continued to pursue my degree in the evenings, and my parents and mother-in-law and everybody watched the baby. And then we moved to California, and I decided that I was going to pursue a degree. And by this time I had child number 2, and I was going to school online full-time at a Baptist university. And so during this time, I'm also experiencing kind of this heart change in me. And I was really starting to research what was a godly woman, biblical womanhood, raising my children in a godly home. But I was also kind of floundering in myself because going from 1 to 2 kids has been my hardest transition. Harder than 4 to 5. And my hair's doing something crazy. I was okay, I kind of need a little bit of a system. I didn't really know what I was doing. And if stuff got done, it got done. And if it didn't, it just didn't. And so I was reading through a Christian homemaker's handbook whenever I started realizing I needed to do more with my home. And it wasn't just a place that I decorated, but it was my space. And so I ended up getting pregnant again with baby number 3. And at this time, a war started inside of me. My flesh that was, taking 18 plus credit hours and was ready to graduate, ready to hit graduate school, and get as many names and letters and everything behind my name. I wanted it all. I wanted to go get my master's, my bachelor's. I was finishing my bachelor's. I wanted to get my doctorates. And I already started looking at grad schools and all the things. So I just started that was one side of me. And then here was this other side that was hey, this is all the research you've been doing in the Bible. This is what God says you should do and all these things. And you should be staying at home with your kids. And I was like, this can't be right. So I want to read to you real quick. I have my Bible with all these things in it because I write in it and everything. Anyways, it says in Titus 2, small little book I highly recommend you guys read if you have time. But I'm just going to read from Titus 2 verse 4, and it was saying that it's talking to the older women to teach the younger women to love their husbands, love their children, to be discreet, chaste, homemakers, good, obedient to their own husbands, and to the word, so that the word of God may not be blasphemed. So reading that, I was like, okay, yeah, like I was on a journey of like biblical womanhood, Proverbs 31, godly wife. And so you would just like kind of graze over the homemaking part because I was just trying to be a good wife at the time. Like I was trying to get that figured out. But then as I started really dissecting like these verses, there's several verses. And if you, wait a second, want to do a video over like maybe verse by verse of like Proverbs 31, Titus 2, Ephesians 5, 1 Peter 3, any of those, I would love to do that. So let me know below. Anyway, so I would like graze over it. So at this time I have like this war going on, and I started really looking into what a homemaker was. And at the same time, I had started reading a book called Large Family Logistics, and I started watching some moms here on YouTube that had more kids than me. Like, how are they surviving? I'm about to have baby number 3. What I thought was going to go have this career, and how am I going to manage at home? I've been at home this whole time. And like I said, I had this war, and I was trying to figure out how and why and who and what that looked like for me. And so I was like, okay, I kind of think I should stay home, but I don't know. So like I said, I was like warring inside myself. So I remember being like big pregnant and going up to my husband and saying, babe, after I finish my degree, I think I want to stay at home and not go back to work. And he was like, grabbed my hand and he was like, babe, maybe we should talk about this after you have the baby, like 6 months postpartum, maybe even a year. Like, your hormones, you might be a little crazy right now. And I'm like, I think how sweet he was trying to be at the time, and me just thinking like, yeah, maybe I'm just kind of being like a little crazy, like maybe it's just the hormones talking here. And so I remember like I had her and just feeling this strong, like, you know what, I'm not going to look at another graduate school. It's plain to see that the Bible is calling me to be a homemaker, and I have the opportunity. My husband is a wonderful provider, and we've already lived on one income so far, and we know the struggles, we know the sacrifices that's going to have to be made. So I was just like, I'm going to embrace this. And I just said, like, this is it. I'm going to stay home. So that's kind of like my journey to where I decided to fully embrace this. And when I say that I want to embrace it, like, what does that mean? What does that look like? I knew that I was not going to go back to work, but I changed my mindset on what I was doing. Cause I would just be like, oh, people would say like, oh, what do you do? And I'd be like, oh, I'm a student. Or I'd be like, oh, I'm just a stay-at-home mom. And that wasn't accurate for me anymore, because I was more than just a stay-at-home mom. I was a wife, a mother. I was a chef. I was a planner. I'm doing all these things. This is my job. Like, that is what like clicked in my head. Like, this is a job. This is, just because there's not a monetary value on everything that you're doing. My husband tells me this all the time, but it is, because you're serving your family. Either you would be working to pay somebody else to do that, or you can do that and receive that reward of servanthood for your family. And so I was like, okay, what do I need? I needed a home management binder for one. So I will show you what that looks like. And there's years that I have been clinging to that, and there's years that I don't even know where it is. I'm just winging it. But I was like, okay, I'm no longer just going to wake up in my sweatpants and my husband comes home and sees me in my yoga pants. I'm not saying that's wrong, because there are days that getting around is like just some mascara and some workout clothes. Okay. Like, I'm not going to say that I'm like done up, but 90% of the time I treat staying at home with my family as a job. I get up in the morning, I get around, I do my hair, my makeup, I get dressed. I really want this not only for my husband to come home and see that I am managing our home well, not only am I doing this for the Lord and servanthood and being obedient to a call placed on women, but also for my daughters and my sons to see what it looks like when you are obedient and when you take a task seriously, and whenever you really care. Like I don't want them just to think like, oh, I'm just a stay-at-home mom. And I hate whenever I meet new moms, like, oh, what are you doing? They're like, oh, I'm just a stay-at-home mom. Like they're kind of like ashamed of doing it. And I'm like, hey, I'm Bethany. I'm a homemaker. I stay at home with my family and I run my household. Like I want that to be an empowering statement. And I think there's a whole generation of women like me that grew up with moms that ended up going, like, thankfully my mom did stay home. And so I did have an example for up until I was probably getting ready to go to middle school, my mom went back to work. So I did have an example of what that looked like. My mom always, put her makeup on. She was always doing that, but she eventually went back to work. So in my head, I thought I would always end up probably going back to work. And so not until I really realized like this is going to be my profession. I can do other things. I do other things. I run a direct sales company and all those things. I'm not saying that you can't do other things, because that's in the Proverbs 31. She went to the marketplace. She made clothing. She did all these things. She's like this ultimate woman to strive for. But in the same thing, everything worked for her home. And so my hope is around this channel is that as I'm sharing with you guys what I've chosen for my life, I know that it's not for everyone, but if you are a Christian woman, you should consider and read and meditate and pray and really think about what this means for your life, because it was, like I said, it took me a while to really grasp what this even meant and to know like other verses of the Bible. How can I do this well? All that to be said, we're not going to be perfect. We're not going to have it all together, because I live on the struggle bus too. People tell me all the time, I don't know how you do it, or you show me how to do it. This is me showing you what I've done so far, but trust and know that I have a laundry monster. It's like a mountain of clothes that lives in my laundry room. I have dishes in my sink every day too. There's things that need vacuumed and things that need scrubbed and all the things. I don't have my house together all the time, but I have put systems into place and realized, as I'm reading these books and seeing other moms, I kind of needed a flow. I needed a system. I needed to manage my home, just like I would do if I was going to be managing a company or whatever for somebody else, or managing my own company or my own practice. I thought I was going to go on to be a physical therapist or a doctor, a DO, or a midwife. Those were my 3 top things I was going to go do. If I was going to pour my heart and soul into that, and I changed my focus of career, I should be doing the same thing for other things. It's not a cop-out for me to just be oh, I just stay at home. I don't have to do anything. That's not true. And I think the reason why my husband also praises me, and it says that your husband will praise her in the gates in Proverbs 31, that is so true. My husband says so many more things about me that is so positive. He gives me credit for so many more things, and I feel so affirmed because of me walking along beside him and taking the team. He doesn't have to worry about the home in the sense of obviously he does handyman stuff, and he does help me. He does help. And I am not too prideful to say hey, can you help me give the kids baths tonight? Or can you read a story while I go do this? Or whatever. I need help with dinner. Can we go out to eat instead? I will say, but he knows that I am in this. It's a team effort. It's a team effort, and I am taking care of the home front. And so my hope behind sharing my homemaking journey and knowing that I was floundering and I battled, you guys, like I said, I battled Like, I didn't want to stay at home. I didn't think that was going to be in my life. I didn't know I was going to have 5 kids. Okay. Like, we thought we were going to have like 2. I was like, maybe 3, like later. And I thought there were going to be like big gaps, like 5 years in between. Like, none of anything that I thought was going to happen. I thought I was going to be like 27 years old, like done with my graduate degree, living like a penthouse apartment somewhere. Like, I had no idea where God was going to take my life. And I love where I am. I would never trade it for what I thought was going to be. I'm glad that I became educated. I'm glad that I have a bachelor's degree. I'm glad that I chose that route at the time, but I'm so glad that I stayed at home. And so I know that that's not the popular opinion, and that I might, receive some backlash from this video, but I really wanted to put out there that homemaking is a thing. And if you feel the calling for that, and if you feel like you're battling a decision to stay at home, that listen to that, because it's so rewarding later. We're never going to get these years back with our kids. I think all the time I am getting to witness them, walk for the first time, read for the first time, the light bulb go off on their head whenever they figure out a math problem. Like, I get to see those things. I'm witnessing, not only just with like set aside homeschooling, but for homemaking, I'm serving. And sometimes I think that we get so lost in like, I'm just underappreciated. There might be days that go by when nobody says thank you, or you're reminding your kids to say thank you, or, my husband's socks might be next to the hamper a million times, but we are serving our families. And, even Jesus came to serve. I mean, is it the most Christ-like thing that you're ever going to do is serving your family? He washed feet. We wipe noses. We wash feet. We pick up our husband's sandals. He took off sandals. I'm thinking like, if this is the most Christ-like thing that I will do with my life, is laying down my own selfish wants to serve my family with love. I love going to Hobby Lobby and creating a pleasant space, like, who wants to go to Starbucks and go to Hobby Lobby? Like, we can go together. I mean, that's what I love to do. I want to serve my family. I love whenever people come into my home and they're like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. I love this space. It's so cozy in here. I love when my husband doesn't want to leave. He doesn't want to go somewhere else. My kids want to be at home. They like their things. I love this new rug, Mom, you got. Like, they compliment these things because it's a cozy, pleasant space for my family. I could ramble about this for a while, but I won't. I will show you guys part 2 of this video. Any questions? Maybe I'll do like a frequent ask questions homemakers video. If you guys want to do more of like a Bible study side of this, let me know. I am here to walk alongside you guys with this journey, figuring it out just how I'm still figuring it out. I just have a little handle on what I understand. And so I'm not coming here saying that I'm the expert in this. I'm not coming here and saying that I know everything about it. And I'm not here to debate either. This is what I believe. This is what I have interpreted the scripture to be. And this is what I love doing with my life. So thank you for joining me. Like, subscribe, hit the notification button, comment down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.